Welcome to Verbal Pig Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I want everybody to pay close attention to the image that's representing this broadcast today. It's a picture of a white man who has did some type of medical procedure to where he injected himself with melanin. He doesn't want to be white anymore. He wants to be black. So he injected himself with melanin. And if you look at the t-shirt caption, it's stating how $350, I believe, for 1 gram of melanin. It's saying that the melanin that's in black people's skin is now worth its weight in gold. Reason being is that melanin is God's natural protection from the sun. And it also serves other purposes, but we're not going to get into those right now. We're dealing with sun and God's natural sun blocker, which is melanin. Now, black people have been running from being black since slave era. They did anything they could to lighten themselves up. They wouldn't even mate with black people. They wanted to mate with whites or Hispanic because in their minds they wanted a child to come out with sick hair. With a certain type of texture of hair that they call good hair, as though there's good and bad hair. They didn't want the dominant gifts that God gave them since creation. They wanted something to resemble or make them as close to being white, but without actually having to say that they're white. And that didn't work out for them. Now, the universe, sun, moon, and stars is what the Creator created for a specific purpose. And then He loved us so much that He gave us melanin to protect from the hot heat and the ultraviolet rays and the sun rays that are produced and let off by the sun. Meaning, I'm not going to create this big ball of fire which gives energy and which supplies you with food and nourishment and vitamins without giving you any natural protection. So He gave us the stuff called melanin, which is actually material that's found in everything, even chlorophyll, the universe. There's melanin. Now you have a people on the planet who came about and who were deprived of melanin. So they were catching such diseases such as melanoma or skin cancer, or they get sick by it if too much exposure to the sun. Now you have men and women, meaning white men, white women, who are getting injected with melanin for protection. And they say that they never look so good. This is beyond blackface, because really the sick fetish behind black people, because you got to remember, man, they had a fetish on black people. They would chop off the black man's penis, keep it in a jar, chop off one of our fingers. I mean, they did some sick stuff to black people during that period in which we call slavery. Even though all blacks that were enslaved didn't come from Africa, you have blacks who was already here old Mexico, look at Mexico, who came here from different parts of Africa, but about 100,000 years ago, before slavery before the white man even came to the Americas, there were black people already here. Black Native Americans already here. And I'm talking about the black Native Americans that were here before they intermarried or before they mixed bloods with the conquistadors or the Spaniards that came here. We're going over history now. And so what happened was these tribes were whited out, and then white people were able to claim Native American status and get certain things from the government, but they only carry it in name only, because a lot of if you trace back to the Native Americans, a lot of them, how can I say, were actually Europeans claiming to be Native Americans. So it's funny how black people are constantly being criticized about color and who they are, but when you go back and research and do and study the history, you'll find out that black people were the first people on the planet. How can that be a negative? So it's not about its race, but it's really about envy. They come out of the Caucasus Mountains, where they go from where the Khazars up in Siberia and near Russia and the Caucasus Mountains. They started traveling. They started finding out all of these statues of obelisks and pyramids and universities that black people already had, and they became envious. And it's like a child with his basketball who's losing, get mad and go home and take his ball home with him. That's the same thing as on the same level as what happened to black people when they encountered the first Europeans. The Europeans came into their territory, on their land, into their civilization, and started to destroy what was created by the black man, because they didn't want society to know that things were already created. A marvelous structure was already created before they created anything. So they wanted to right the wrong and destroy it, or change the features so they could say to the world, hey, look what I've done. But what they fail to realize is history wasn't just recorded in the English language. History was recorded in Latin. It was recorded in Greek. It was recorded in Arabic. And it was recorded in Spanish, where you had different explorers from different races from different ethnicities, who traveled the globe and wrote about the black people that were already here and what they experienced, and they would call them Moors. They would talk about the nose, the lips, the hair. They would talk about the skin. They would talk about how beautiful the women were. When they arrived in parts of the Americas, they thought they were in the Garden of Eden when they ran across how beautiful the women were and how pretty their skin were as a dark-colored, dark-complected skin person. But they said, well, how can we rule the world? And these are the Europeans coming out of the Caucasus Mountains and started traveling amongst people of color. How can we rule the world when everything is already here? When we have all these marvelous creations that make what we did in Europe seem like nothing in that part of Europe. And I'm talking about that part of Europe near the Caucasus Mountains, near the Khazars in that area. They said, well, we have to do those switcheroo. We're going to take on an ancient language. We're going to take on some of these ancient names. We're going to say that we were part of the tribe and the family. We're going to come in and we'll take over and we'll push them back and let the world know that our history and our ancestry runs deep amongst the indigenous people. And every indigenous person who stood up and said, hey, wait a minute. We don't know you. You wasn't here. Our forefathers didn't write anything and pass down through the written word or verbal communications about you. We don't know who you are. And everyone who stood up and said that, they were attacked. Or they were killed. Or they were silenced, hushed, or shunned away, or paid money to go along with the plan. And of course, you had some who took the finances and actually helped perpetrate the lie. So, when you look at society today, and the reason why things are so confused and mixed up, you have like the president of Egypt, who said that he didn't recognize the new Jews because he said the Jews that they knew, they left black and came back white. He's saying, how did you leave as a black race of people as Jews when you left, and how did you come back as white Jews? Because the people in the Middle East, they know the history. It's just the majority of blacks in America who are confused or who don't do the research, to find out what was what. Or because you have to know. That way, and the reason being is that way when a lie is told, you can defend yourself and say, no, that's not true. I did the research and found out that blacks were here first, and they created this civilization, and that a new people came and started claiming to be this or that. Because how can I say, anytime the foundation has a crack in it, then it's only a matter of time before problems occur. Because the foundation wasn't based on truth. And you can't cover up or hide the lie. Because if the lie was able to be covered up forever, then that means then that the Creator couldn't say that He is the God of truth. He has to be the God of truth, so truth has to come out. So the God of truth can justify His existence. Meaning, He can't let a lie stand. And we speaking upon the God of truth. The God of truth can't let a lie stand. So, it's very important that you read, or that you listen to broadcasts, or that you go Google, or that you research so you can have knowledge yourself. So when you hear me say, Brother Farrakhan, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Haile Selassie, when you hear me say names such as these, it's to give homage to those who came before us, who risked their lives to bring you truth so that you can know. And you don't have to walk around in darkness or under a false notion that your ancestors never contributed anything to society. When in fact, they created language, they created mathematics, they created art, they created astronomy, astrology, alchemy. Go back and do your research. That way you can walk with your head up every time you look up in the sky and you say, man, somebody was plotting ship courses on the water by navigating by the stars, which was one of your ancestors. You can take pride in that. You can take pride in the fact that your ancestors built the first university. You can take pride in the fact that your ancestors were the first farmers, were the first man and woman of the planet Earth. That's why Brother Farrakhan said to call yourself the original man and the original woman of the planet Earth. Now for the conscious community, those who fight amongst each other, which is healthy in the sense until you all start threatening each other and then you get off the course and start name calling and whatnot, because that takes away from the message and it takes away from the movement, because it turns it into a BET reality show. And to be honest with you, people are sick of that style of reality show, because all it does is shows that we mastered the art of making money off buffoonery, off coonery. It shows that we can turn on each other, as Mandingo warriors used to do. As far as the slave master would say, give me this buck from this plantation to fight this buck from another plantation. Don't know each other, don't even know why they're fighting each other. All they know is they fighting to survive because master said so, so they're fighting. And that became a big money-making venture. So today when you see the conscious community fighting with each other, of course it's going to get views, and of course it's going to get likes, because we're trained to get excited when we see each other fight each other. Like when you were young and the fight broke out from elementary, junior high, and high school, they draw the circle around the crowd, and black folk, we too wanted to see two brothers go at it or two sisters go at it. Y'all tear each other up. We laugh and we cheer and pump our fists in the air, and we be saying, "Ooh, get him, so and so, get him, get him." That's sad. Nobody said, hey, y'all shouldn't be fighting, y'all should be brothers. Why don't y'all go get a book and learn about your history and who you are? Why don't you put some knowledge in your head? Why don't you talk about building something for the community to where both of you all can make some money in a positive way? We were cheering them on. Get them out there. Don't let nobody pull out a knife. We really got into the fight then. Then don't let nobody pull out a gun. We into the fight until he misses target and hit somebody in the crowd, and then that's when everybody takes off. Because they want to see what's going on. And we have to be bigger than that. So yeah, it's a lot that we have to build on. But we have to have the motivation and the energy to even start on the road of building. So I hope in the near future we'll be more focused on knowledge than we are on being accepted by our former slave masters and looking for their approval and worrying about or wondering about what they think and how they feel about us when they show us better than they tell us, and we still hold out hope that one day we will be accepted as an equal? Or will we say all of these white people who are walking around with melanated injections into their body, who seems black, will we be so blind to who we are to where we wouldn't recognize an imposter? Will we say, oh, now you have melanin injected in the skin, which lasts for a specific amount of time. Now you're black. You have the essence of a black person. You have the spirit, the energy, the DNA, the genetics, just because you went to a doctor and you got filled up with our melanin. I mean, it's on the rise. I mean, there could be black people walking among you right now that you wouldn't even know that they injected themselves to be that way. They could be amongst you studying you. How can we tell as a people who's black and who's portraying to be black? We had our eyes focused. I mean, the paradigm has shifted. If you went to Jamaica and parts of Africa, they would buy these creams to try to lighten themselves up. It would, burn their face up. I mean, they'd have patches and bruises all on their face for trying to be lighter. Then you come to America and you have so many white people who are injecting themselves with melanin so they can be darker. So everybody's doing the same thing. And then fighting over who's better. You got black people who said, I'm better because I'm lighter. And then you got white people who saying, I'm better because I'm darker. It's crazy. It's like the dog chasing its tail. When freedom, justice, and equality, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding should be the call of the day. Mastering yourself, meaning understanding how you fit into this whole creation and evolution of things, and understanding how you are a part of this universe and you are in tune with this universe. Verbal Pick Radio, we're out.